is it requires significantly more volume to be successful in any aspect of business.
I love that you said that. I love that
hiring
you said that.
employees.
I love that you said that. Yes.
Your first employee may seem like the best one, but you got to understand, put volume into finding the best person. Put volume into your content.
Yeah.
When I was starting my content, I had lives on IG. I had 2 people listening. I was so stoked that 2 people were listening because I knew I had to put volume in the beginning. I knew nobody was going to listen to me no matter what I said. I could be controversial. I could bring an incredible amount of value. If I don't put volume into something that I do, everything that I do, it's not going to be successful. And I didn't understand this in the beginning. I thought people are just running multi-million-dollar companies and they're just successful.
That's just how it is.
It's just how it is. They put a little bit of work into it. It wasn't like depressing days. Do I quit? Am I in the right direction? My family's saying don't do this. You're not giving me enough attention. I'm going to leave you, this and that, breakups, whatever the situation might be. Almost every single person that has any serious level of success, they've gone through it. I've gone through it. You've gone through it. You guys have probably gone through it. Everybody's gone through it.
Yeah.
And that's what I didn't understand. I didn't go through enough pain in the beginning to get to this level.
I love that you said exactly that, because remember when we first started the agency, what did I tell you guys? I repeatedly said multiple. I said one thing. I said the amount of whatever you're expecting to do, the work you're gonna do, put at least 50x that more, because that was such a huge lesson that I learned going through this, is the sheer amount of volume and work and effort it actually takes. And that's another thing why I think like professionals make it seem so nonchalant, is because it's so much energy that they put into their day-to-day life that when somebody randomly comes and asks them like, hey, can you tell me about how you made millions? It's like, what am I going to sit down with you and just write for you every goddamn thing that I did in the past 6 years? Like, I don't really know how to answer that question, you know? And so they just nonchalantly say, just save money, work hard.
Hard work, dedication.
Yeah, the basic stuff, you know?
No, it's funny because you always talk to like, the highest level people that you meet or you listen to online or whatever, and they literally just summarize into like the same few words: hard work, dedication, volume, output, and this and that. It literally just comes down to like, you don't know the details of the formula, but you have the big picture.
But here's what I'll also say. If you just come at it not knowing anything about business that you're going to be successful, you got to kind of have that mindset like, I'm just going to make it work. I'm going to assume it's going to be kind of easy, kind of simple. I'm going to make it work. And then learn through the process that, okay, it takes a lot of volume to be successful. Maybe a lot of people that go into it thinking, this is so much work I've never done before, it's going to be too difficult. Maybe that stops you from doing it. You got to go with a mindset like, it's going to work. It's going to work.
Sometimes I think you have to be a little bit of you need to be naive to a certain point of just going with the flow.
In the beginning.
Yeah.
Because you haven't experienced all of it, and once you do, you understand. And then you can make it flow, build a team, do the marketing, understand it takes a lot of volume.
I also think, though, if I'm being honest, aside from just the volume, it's also the fact that, like, the risk, how much, like, you're able to handle risk. I meet so many business owners, and they've been running their business for years. Like, you meet so many people who are like, I've been in business for 20 years. How much money do you make? $300,000 a year. I'm like, what? Like, that's not a business, bro. You're an employee. Like, you employed yourself. Congrats, Or even, like, I meet so many business owners that have been running for, like, 3 decades, and their company's at $2 million, $3 million. And I noticed, and I'm sure you could touch base on this. I'd love for you, because you just bought $1 million worth of cars.
Yeah, $1 million worth of cars.
Which, I would assume, you know what? Obviously, we're not going to throw out how much money your company's making stuff, but people just guess. Assume in the comments below how much money this guy's making per month for him to go buy $1 million worth. I'm going to actually shoot you guys a question. How much money do you have to be making per month for you to go buy $1 million worth of cars? Your answer will show how much you're like the difference in his risk versus what you could take.
Right.
How much money do you think you have to be making?
Like
per month?
Per month.
Yeah.
For how long?
Just whatever. Just like your business just does that every single month consistently.
I think if your business is making like a cool casual, I don't know, like 600 to $1 million
a month.
A month.
Yeah.
Net.
Because no, we're talking
net
gross.
Or gross. Okay.
Gross.
Let's talk net. Because gross could be $600K and $1 profit.
Right.
Or you could be at a loss.
100%. Dang, I have no idea. to casually buy $1 million worth of cars. I genuinely don't know.
What about you, Malik? What do you think?
Yeah, my guess would be probably like
No, like for you, like as like you imagine you had that company. How much money does Malik have to be taking home for him to justify $1 million in cars?
Oh, see now why he get a different question than me?
Because I don't care about you.
taking home a month. I to comfortably afford it with all my expenses and bills, I'd probably say about like $500,000.
What are your expenses?
Assuming that like, well, I said $500,000 is in like a year, but
A
breaking
year?
it down, I'd probably say like 200 basically. to
No
answer it.
ambition, dude.
Wait, $500,000 a year to afford $1 million in cars? How are you gonna do that, dude?
I'd say like you'd have to live an interesting
4
life.
years.
Yeah,
Right? You'd have to
you saving up
basically-
for a decade or something, or
You'd
what?
have to live for that car basically. But I think to answer that question at the end of the day, I think about like 200K.
A month, take home.
Sure.
Yeah. So I find, you know what I find interesting about what you do, man? I've watched you for the past years and grown. I love your journey because I think it's so legit how you stayed focused on one thing. You know,
Yep.
there's a lot of people that become experts of nothing because they get into so many different things because this makes money or that makes money or look at that golden
jump
egg.
around.
They jump around because it's sexy and attractive. You stayed on that game forever, ever since I've met you. And I think it's interesting because your way of justifying investments is so different than like, you know, any other person you might ask. And I think that plus what you just said about the volume is the sheer reason to why you are where you're at right now. Would you agree with me on that, or like, or how? What have you seen?
I would tell you this: the reason why my whole business is around credit is because I've gone through such a fucked up situation with credit that I know that what I've gone through, what I've learned, can help so many people, and that's why it's so easy for me to stick with one thing.